Hello and welcome to the first Let's Talk About It podcast installment here at SUNY Westbury. I'm Jean Telford, the resident social worker. Today's episode is about Ramadan. The holy month is a special occasion for Muslims around the world. During this month, Muslims observe a strict fast from dawn until sunset. They're not allowed to eat or drink, not even water, during the daylight hours. Today, we are joined on set by Associate Professor Organic Chemistry and Social Justice Fellow, Dr. Faisal Ibrahim. During my time as a former U.S. Army commander, I've been stationed around the world and been in locations where different individuals celebrate Ramadan. Until today, I don't know what Ramadan is all about. Having said that, that's why we invited Dr. Ibrahim and a couple other students from this university to have a conversation and educate us and inform us about Ramadan. Dr. Ibrahim, what is the significance of Ramadan?
Thanks for having me, Jan. To begin with, Ramadan, it's the ninth month on the lunar calendar, and Ramadan connotes intense heat in Arabic language, right? So Ramadan is significant in Islam on several other fronts. One, in Ramadan, fasting is being prescribed for Muslims from dawn to dusk throughout the month of Ramadan. It's been stated in Quran, chapter 2, verse 183, that fasting is prescribed to you as it's been prescribed to those before you, so that you may attain piety or you may attain God's consciousness. So it's important that every Muslim, every old, adult, able-bodied Muslim fast throughout the month of Ramadan. One other significance is the Holy Quran, that's the scripture of Muslims, was revealed to the Prophet of God, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, through or during the month of Ramadan. So that's how important the month of Ramadan is in Islam. Again, another significance of the month of Ramadan is there is one particular night during the period of Ramadan, fasting on Ramadan, called the Laylatul Qadr, just a night. And in that night, if you're so lucky, and we pray in throughout the night, that night has a reward equivalent to 1,000 months. Like, so if you pray throughout the night, the kind of reward you will attain is like you prayed continuously for 1,000 months. We call it the night of power. Let's look at it. Ramadan, the month of Ramadan, first in the month of Ramadan, it's also one of the 5 pillars of Islam. So there's no way you can be a Muslim, able-bodied adult Muslim, without fasting, because it's one of the 5 pillars. The others are the bearing witness that there's no God except Allah, and then praying 5 times a day, and then giving alms, we call it zakat, and the pilgrimage to Mecca. And then fasting is one of those 5 pillars. So it's very important as a Muslim, able-bodied Muslim, you fast throughout the month of Ramadan. That's how significant Ramadan is.
Thank you for that answer. Now, you said in the introduction that the Quran states that fasting was prescribed for believers,
Yes.
so that they may be conscious of God. What is the connection between soul and body that the observance of Ramadan seeks to explain?
All right, so what I would say with this is, you see, when you abstain from doing what normally is halal in Islam, common thing like eating, drinking, it's not an easy thing to be able to get rid of, right? But if you're able to be patient and do that, Muslims believe in the course of Ramadan, whilst you are fasting, you reflect on the purpose of your very existence. And then it grows you closer to the creator of God, to the creator of the universe. It's also believed that when you fast, you kind of think or experience what poverty does, right? So you are not eating. You see what people go through when they lack this nourishment, food and water. You feel that. And that kind of foster the sense of empathy in you and the broader feeling for other people who do not have it. And that will lead you to thinking through. It's not an easy thing not to eat and drink, and you grow that sense of empathy for others closer to you, far away from you, your colleagues, your family members. It also builds you spiritually. Fasting is like you go through a training for a period of time. You come out refreshed and rejuvenated spiritually. So those are the connections you will see or will encounter between the fasting and the soul that builds you to be a perfect person at the end of this Ramadan.
Sounds challenging.
Yes, it is.
And also rewarding as well.
Yes,
so now, on a lighter note, do Muslims celebrate the end of the fasting period?
Muslims do, actually. So there are two major festivals in Islam. We call one Eid al-Fitr, and the other is Eid al-Adha. The Eid al-Fitr is the one that comes after every month of Ramadan, fasting for the period of Ramadan. So it's the festival of breaking of the fast of Ramadan. So after the end of Ramadan, 20 or 30 days of Ramadan, when you break the fast, we make merry. We cook good foods, eat, go to friends, have family, have fun, like share gifts. So it's a major and a very important holiday on the Islamic calendar, the celebration of the end of fasting in the month of Ramadan. It's not easy to go through a period of 29, 30 days, right, without eating. So you have to make merry and thank God for seeing you through the period. So yes, we celebrate the end of fasting, and we call it Eid al-Fitr.
Eid al-Fitr.
Fitr.
Okay. Because I do believe the notion of Eid, would just
Eid
say,
is yes, merry making, right? Make merry, enjoy, have fun. So Eid al-Fitr connotes making merry or having fun, eating, enjoying at the end of fasting. And the Eid al-Adha will be the other part of it, where we commemorate the sacrifice Abraham went through in trying to make a sacrifice one of his sons to the Almighty God. So we do that. That will be later after the Ramadan comes some couple of months later.
So I know you have a very busy schedule. You teach, you do research, you have a family, and the list goes on. For a non-practicing Christian, non-practicing religious individual, not committed to anything, can you describe a day in the life of a Ramadan observing Muslim?
Absolutely. So, like you said earlier, it's a challenging thing. So, as a Muslim observing Ramadan, fasting in the month of Ramadan, normally the fasting is not just, the month of Ramadan is just not just about fasting, it's fasting and prayer. So, as dawn, at early as around maybe 4 a.m., you wake up, start to get ready, because we are also encouraged to pray a lot in the month of Ramadan. So, depending on an individual, people will wake up early in the morning, start to pray, and then there's one important thing we do in the month of Ramadan, taking the dawn meal. You are not compelled to do that, but it has a reward. You are expected or you are encouraged to wake up at dawn and take the dawn meal. It comes with some reward. You can fast without it if you're able to, but you are encouraged to take the dawn meal. When you take dumbbell, you don't even, so you wake up at 4 o'clock, you don't get to even sleep. You get to keep praying as a student or as a professor, get ready for classes, coming. So it's going to be a very long, tedious, challenging day. Throughout the day, you have been in class without eating, without drinking. So, the end of the day, you get back home, you pray, continuously you pray 5 times a day, right? And then in the evening, we also do what is called Taraweeh prayers. Yeah. Out of Ramadan, we do normal 5 daily prayers. But there are other non-obligatory, but very important salat in the month of Ramadan. After your 5 obligatory prayers, we do what is called Taraweeh after maybe around 7 p.m., right? That is a very extended version of prayer, though it's non-obligatory, but has a lot of rewards in that. So we do that, and then you are able to also wake up in the middle of the night, around 2, 3 a.m., depends on the individual, keep praying. So it's a very long day. You get tired at the end of the day, but you are disciplined and encouraged to keep doing it because of the reward you think you're going to get in that. Because Muslims believe the month of Ramadan, it's a very blessed month. So you want to, as much as you can, accumulate all the reward. So you're going to go through all of the difficulties, but you want to do that. You are encouraged, you are disciplined to go through all that because it's going to take another year to get to Ramadan. You want to get as much as reward as you can in the month of Ramadan. So to conclude, I would say a day in Ramadan, it's a challenging one, but we are disciplined and encouraged to keep going till the end of it.
Okay. You spoke about dedication to reflection, spirituality, practices of self-restraint, and discipline, just to name a few.
Yep.
I would like for you to think back and really, if there's a message that you could send to a non-Muslim individual about the prescribed fasting that you engage in, because we go through all these challenges, the reflection, the spirituality, the self-restraint and discipline. What is something that you wish audience or anybody who does not know much about Ramadan and the prescribed fasting knew? What is one thing?
The important thing is just for fasting, people who do not fast like non-Muslims around us, just to understand what we are doing, right? Just to respect what we're going through. Because it's not easy to go through all of this, abstain from eating and drinking, right? But if your colleagues, your friends understand that there are certain things you do not have to be engaged in the month of Ramadan. It's not only eating, right? You have to abstain from other vices. You do not have to use the curse word in the month of Ramadan. You do not have to insult in the month of Ramadan. You do not have to eat and drink, as that's the obvious ones. And gossiping and going to places that are normally not inclined with the religion of Islam. So what I would just want the non-practicing or non-Muslims to know is just to understand what we're doing, be able to respect and help us in their own way to be able to fulfill the religious obligation on us. It's a difficult process, especially students go through all of this. They have friends. If you're a friend to a student, a Muslim student, you'll have to understand that there are certain things you do outside Ramadan your friend cannot do in the month of Ramadan. He cannot eat. So respect that, and you not bring food closer to him, eat, and try to invite him to restaurants and all of that because he is fasting. When you respect that, we are happy you help us fulfill our religious obligation. That's all we need.
Okay. I just wanted to take a note to go on record also states that it's either he or she who could be fasting as well.
That's
So, what is the best form of support you ever received during Ramadan?
Individual, a lot of it, because like I indicated, we believe fasting. The month of Ramadan is a blessed month, so people do a lot of charity. A lot of charity. People support with food, Thanksgiving, and all of that. So, especially if you're in a community where everybody fasts, you're able to receive this kind of support with what you use in your fasting, the food you eat, how you break it, and the kind of community. Because at the end of the fasting in the evening, people come together, right? That is what really gladdens my heart. When you see people sit around a bowl of meal all together eating as a family. And that kind of sense of community is really important, and it's something that I really appreciate and would like to see around with students and even non-Muslims, really. Sometimes after breaking the fast, we invite people who do not even fast. Come and enjoy it. Let's sit down as a community and enjoy what we have. It's important.
Okay. Now, I don't know if we covered this before, but I'd like to have an idea, if you know, why is it called Ramadan? Why not a different name? I'm just
No,
asking,
so
inquiring
like
mind wants
like
to know.
indicated, it's Ramadan connotes, right, intense heat, right? So the period of that period in the Arabian world, like maybe in the summer, like maybe in July, like very hot. So they just named that month Ramadan because it connotes intense heat in that period of the year. But fasting in Ramadan, right? Why are we fasting in Ramadan and not in other months? Probably that's what you wanna ask. So before the prophethood of the Prophet of Islam, normally he secluded himself onto the mountaintop to reflect on life, right? And he does that in the month of Ramadan. He goes there alone out of the normal Arabian clan and family on the top of the mountain, praying and reflecting. So it was on one of such occasions, he encountered, this is the account of Muslims, what Islam teaches. The Prophet of God, before he becomes prophet, he encountered Angel Gabriel. So Angel Gabriel squeezed him and commanded him to recite. But the prophet at that time was unlettered, like he didn't know anything. He was an illiterate, if I should put it. So he responded, I do not know how to recite. So in Arabic he said, Iqra, recite. And he says, Ana biqari, I cannot recite. So he repeated that 3 times. And then he squeezed him and he proclaimed, recite in the name of your Lord. So those are the first verses of the Quran. So it was through that period, right, where Islam really began, and it was in the month of Ramadan. So that is how the entire Islam starts, where revelation starts to be descended from the Almighty God through Angel Gabriel to the Prophet of God. And that episode started the religion, began the religion, and we Muslims were commanded to start fasting in that same month because of this episode, right? So it continued like that. That's how we're fasting in the month of Ramadan and not any other month. And that month is seen as a holy month in there. There are several other important months, but Ramadan is a very special occasion in the life of a Muslim.
Thank you for that answer. I don't know about anybody else watching This has been absolutely educational and very informal. Dr. Ibrahim, I thank you very much for stopping by and you know share your knowledge of the practice of your religion with us. Please feel free to stop by anytime. We'd love to continue this type of dialogue. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
I'm now joined by two students, Syed Hamid, who is a freshman and studying criminology as a commuter, and Nakum Bagay, who's a sophomore, a biochemistry student, a resident here at SUNY Westbury. We're continuing our conversation around Ramadan celebration. And first thing I want to know is what are some challenges for a resident student during Ramadan?
I would definitely say my biggest challenge is the meal times. Since this is my second year at SUNY Westbury, I've grown accustomed to scheduling my day-to-day life around my prayers and stuff like that. But Ramadan is tricky. Like, for instance, the cafeteria does not open until 8 a.m. We start eating at 4, but I'm a woman, so I have to make the meals. Like, while the men are eating, we wake up a little bit earlier to cook the meals. So say the men wake up around 4, usually I would wake up around 3 to start cooking. And also just to get around getting the ingredients to cook is kind of hard. We kind of have to, like, when I say we, me and all the other Muslims that dorm in the Woodlands, we kind of have to fend for ourselves, but we can't be eating like bagels every single day, so it gets difficult to see like what are we going to eat. And we break our fast around 8 o'clock, but the calf closes at 8. So it's kind of tricky to find what we're going to eat for dinner because you're buying breakfast and you're buying dinner, and we're also students, so it kind of puts a dent into our pockets. Yeah, that's probably the biggest struggle.
So I just heard Coco's, she spoke about the challenges of cooking and eating and navigating some issues on campus as a resident. Syed, how about you as a commuter? I think Coco spoke about the fact that she has to cook. Do you have to cook?
I don't have to cook. My mom cooks it for me. What I have to do is pack the lunch for myself. So as a commuter, I wake up for the suhoor, which we do in the morning before Fajr, which is one of the prayer we have to do. So I eat something at that time, go back to sleep, wake up for classes. So I pack my lunch before I come to the class. Then I have to take a break during the class because I have to break the fast, which is at around 6 o'clock. So I have to step out of the class, drink maybe water or dates. So that's how I have to break the fast, and those are some struggles we have to go through. Some days when I'm at home, we'd have a big meal when we're breaking the fast, but when we as a commuter in school, we have to step out or ask the professor. Sometimes they're cool with it, sometimes they're not, letting you step out. So it would be very appreciative if the professor and everybody would understand. But most of the part, they are cooperative. And as a commuter, sometimes while driving, it's when we go back, it's very hard for, as you can know, in I-495, which is very busy road. On the way back, it's late. After that, we have to do, which is called Taraweeh as a prayer. We have to pray 20 rakats, which is a long time prayer. We have to stay there, also do our school work. So it's very hard for a commuter to practice Ramadan in this school.
Okay, thank you for sharing that with us. So, Dr. Ibrahim was on set with us and spoke about the discipline, the spirituality, the restraint that practicing Muslims celebrating Ramadan, because not all Muslims, right, celebrate Ramadan the same way. So, if you're doing the 29 or 30 days fast, any type of health issues that people around somebody practicing, celebrating Ramadan should be aware of?
Any health issues? I would say for the most part, the best part about Ramadan is it connects your body and your soul. So there's a lot of physical facts about fasting, which helps your body, like, you know, to regulate your blood sugar or to like clear your mind. I think every single time I fast, I feel better physically. Like you're training your body to like get used to like not needing sugar every 5 seconds. So you're more awake, you're more active. It definitely helps if, say, you're on a weight loss journey. Some people do intermittent fasting, but it's like you're gonna have to fast anyway, so you might as well lose a couple pounds. Like, you know, it's helping. Yes, it's very beneficial. I don't see any negative effects of fasting because you're still eating. You wake up in the morning and you have a balanced meal. You're not eating junk food. You're not eating, you know, you're drinking water. You're drinking milk and tea. You're eating foods that will keep you energized, like oatmeal and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, when you're breaking your fast, you're not gonna eat a burger or something. You're gonna eat something like rice or something that will help you like stay up even more so you can complete your prayer, because the prayers are long. You're gonna be standing for a while. So it really keeps you energized just like the whole month. That's why they say like it's the best of month, because you feel refreshed. So yeah.
As a Muslim, we've been doing this for years and years. So as in for some people who are new Muslims, those people usually get sick, or like it's hard for them to practice, which is a long-term fasting, because it's 30 days. You have to continue every day. It's not a skip day. There's nothing like that. So for them, sometimes they get sick, or like food poisoning as an example, they can go through. But which is a refreshment, as she said, that you having something in the morning, fasting the whole day, waiting till sunset to have something that is gonna fulfill your stomach, which is rice or something like that. That would actually help have your sugar going, having your body working completely, and having the facts that they can really work on it. Like there are communities that are helping them go through what are the stuff they need.
Thank you for sharing.